But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Hanging from a thread till you dead, cause your partner put a price on your head, cause your chick was laying up in his bed. She getting details, spilling every word that you said. She working retail, thirsty bitch just trying to get ahead. If history tell us anything, y'all both end up dead. It's just a street tale, a fable, some shit someone said. Sit at the table and hope there's more to offer than bread. Pulled out the cradle, first steps you getting chased by a fed. No head starts, just body parts and lead sparks. Old religion, brand new hate and weak hearts. Oligarchs, krakens, dragons, you see sharks. Imagine you could manage to maneuver the deep part. You a savage, you can have it, just show all your teeth sharp. If you could grab it, you could stab it, just aim for the bleeding heart. The ones that show compassion, a soldier that seeks art. Does the artist that wage war take over or take part? Taking a knee, thinking no one faithful is me. I'm good people in bad lands, no evil live within me. I mind mine, I'll survive, find this land's for the free. If I'm mistaken, I'm forsaken, no one rescuing me. Residual effects, stray bullets through familiar necks. For any number of infractions that I deem disrespect. Your beliefs, you deserve better, but we both in the shit. You just haven't come to grips with it yet. Fight or flight, and they ain't really nowhere to go. If your back is against the wall and you ain't throwing no blows, you gon' crumble in the rubble, become blood in the snow. If you a victim, they collect them, grab the body and go. Dig them and ditch them, total disregard for the soul. Gas them and lit them, watch the flesh burn in the glow. Where we live and catch a shiver, this a hell you don't know. Your best hope is that your dying ain't slow, or your dying's a show. Where we at, it's every man for his own. A bloody backdrop, where killers just zone and slice flesh to the bone. Masked and gloved up front of your home. A flash of gun, but the side of your dome. Fresh blood from a stone, dents in your sense. Kick your fucking ball through the fence, dare you to say something. No sense in sitting around in suspense. Find out what's next, open your fucking mouth, disrespect. See the extent of how my life is intense. She beautiful and oppressed in a permanent summer dress. She a servant and still she blessed. Children cradled against her breast, whispering prayers, wishing their souls the best, knowing that they forgotten, not forgetting they're blessed. The bloodiest red lights, just piles of dead life. Something must be broken, the glyphs wasn't read right. You think them Bible papers will shed light? Yeah, right. Burn after reading, tell the preacher I'm leaving.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
What is poppin', people? Welcome back to Ill Cartel. I am your host, Shy Ill, and we are back in the building. Salutes to you on this lovely hump day evening. All right, hope everybody's in the mix of the week, getting a grind on and getting after that money. Millions. All right, wishing millions on everybody's pockets. Salutes to y'all on this hump day afternoon. What is poppin', people? We are back at it. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. On the way in, it helps us continue doing this. All right? Got a couple of things to cover tonight. Share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Sub up if you haven't subbed up, all that good stuff. Salutes to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. We're going to hang out for a little bit. Couple of things to talk about. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Salutes to y'all. Let me shout out the chat real quick. Shout out Shannon for being first. Salutes. Oh, hold on. Let me shut this down. All right, there we go. Salute Shannon. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Shout out G. Valdovin. All right, deleted his message. Shout out 323G. Salutes. All right, we got an APB out on Mr. Eddie Jimenez. We got another APB out on Fernando. You know. We got an APB on Miguel Lopez. APB on Vernon Himes. Got a couple APBs out there, man. Right, salutes to y'all. Honey's up in the chat for y'all. We're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about the violence that erupted in Mexico over the week. We're going to talk about that, what that looked like, what precipitated it, how we got there. We're going to talk about a news story I don't know anything about. Markitos Toys supposedly asked somebody in Mexicali government to protect him. So I don't know what's going on with that. We'll see about that. What else we're going to talk about? I didn't put it in the description because, we got an APB out on Macho McFly. I didn't put it in the description or in the title, but we're going to talk about David finally being named as a suspect in this case. We're going to talk about the FBI taking over the investigation, all that good stuff. I left it out the title because I'm in a healing process with my channel, and certain words I learned today. I put a title in today, and everything was good and monetized, right? Everything. And I put in the sentence, why the pushback, with a question mark. Demonetized instantly. I took out the word pushback, and I just put why with the question mark. Monetized, no problem. That's the level of scrutiny. That's the level of censorship. That's the level of watchful eye that I'm under when it comes to this duo situation over here, right? YouTube on my ass. And I'm just trying to hang out, do hood rat stuff with my friend. I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend. I don't know what they tripping on me about, but it is what it is. All right? The word pushback. It said that, and then I ChatGPT'd it, and it told me that it looks at pushback as a conflict word, and I'm under so much scrutiny. Meanwhile, everybody else is showing ass and titties, and they drinking, eating, drinking, plucking, sucking, snorting. They're doing everything on the internet. Meanwhile, I get fucked with for the word pushback. I use the word pushback. What kind of bullshit is that? All right? That's from Back to the Future. My bad, Marty McFly. Facts. That's where Macho got it from. Salutes. But yeah. So that's the level of scrutiny we under. So I got to be careful I didn't put that in there. Again, it's going to come to a point pretty soon where when I want to cover anything other than cartel stuff, I have to do the live stream on that other channel. So let's say I'm going to do a body cam. I'd have to do that on Ill Crimes. Let's see, I want to do this David story. I'd have to do that on Ill Crimes. I'd have to say, all right, we're stopping this cartel link. You know, same way the homie Zaya does it. He'll be doing a sneaker video, and then he goes to do something, a body cam video. He switched from sneaker scandals to Ease the Crave, that type of shit. I'm going to have to do it just to not continue to confuse the algorithm. Again, we've been doing it over time. It's just rough, bro. It's hard out here for a pimp. Shout out Love vs. Money. All right, crazy work. YouTube tripping, bruh. The word, the word pushback. Boy, they gave me some pushback as soon as I said that shit. It was crazy. All right, conflict. You know, there's a lot of people in the game, Bartel leaders. I can't even say the word with a C. The word that you see on the screen, I gotta call it a Bartel. You know what I'm saying? And I've gotten so used to doing it, I do it in conversation. You know what I mean? I'm speaking in code to motherfuckers that don't know what I'm talking about. Right? They talking about Chapo, I'm talking about Pocha. They talking about Mayo, I'm talking about Yoma. You know? So it be like that. They on my ass. Hopefully they let up. On my other channels, they're a little bit less, it's a less sensitive subjects on my other channels. Everybody is covering David. Yeah, I gotta do it. But I gotta do it. I'm gonna do it here tonight. We're gonna get caught up. Again, I haven't edited a lot of the last couple of times that we covered that story because it wasn't. It was bullshit for like a month. There was no information. There was nothing new until the PI came to be. Once the private investigator came out, we had a little bit of information. Then it died down again. Now we got it. So I'll get back to editing those videos and I'll continue to cover. But we're gonna have to move these live streams to the crime channel. This will be strictly Bartel content. All right. Again, salutes Love versus Money. I don't know if you've been in here before, but they took away everybody's YouTube name and put their handles out there. But salutes to you, Love versus Money. I appreciate you for being here. Tubo straight tripping. Also said el tubo ya basta, no joda. Yo, on my ass, bro. The word pushback got me demonetized today. Pushback. That's crazy. All right. Shout out Big June. I said mine. Salutes Big June on the check-in. Salutes to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming through. All right, boom. So we're going to cover those things, and then we'll see if there's anything else to talk about. I expect more people to come through as time goes on and El Tubo sends out the notification. Shout out Shannon. I sent a couple updates on that. Yes, I will be using your timestamp because, again, that's the only thing that I see that they said in there was boop. So we're going to use that, and then we'll get to whatever popped off today. A lot of new questions, a lot more questions, but at the moment, he is considered a suspect, and this is considered a homicide. So that's important. Those were important distinctions that had to be made, and they weren't made early. They were made. It took a very long time to get them done. Took a very long time to get them done. No worry, Big June. Never late, always on time. All right, we haven't even gotten started yet. I'm just kicking the bobos, talking the bullshit with the chat, letting y'all know how El Tubo be censoring me and treating me. They send me home at least twice a day, and they be like,
"Now go home and get your fucking shine box."
And I don't be having no choice but to go home and
now go home and get your fucking
get my
shine box.
You know? I got them today though. I took out the word pushback. Boom, monetization. All right, I'm under scrutiny. All right, I'm under scrutiny. All right, I got a. I don't even know if I'm gonna announce that. I'm just gonna do that. All right, for those that don't know, just to update those that weren't here, we're gonna be going on the Johnny Mitchell The Connect show next month. So looking forward to that. That's gonna be a good look, and we wave surfing on everybody's wave. Get some of that. Lot of stuff going on. Lot of political stuff. We got the whole Epstein files. We got the whole 147-1 vote. We got the president is shaking in his thong, and it's looking crazy out there, right? I saw that man defend somebody that smoked a journalist today in the White House. It's crazy out there. All those things are happening. We got a lot of rug busts happening. A lot of people getting popped off. We got the trial of former boxer Joran Gokic, 20-ton
Brocane trafficking case adjourned due to juror bribery and tampering. So we got to check that out eventually. Shout out Shannon. LAPD knows how and where it was done. There are co-defendants as well, a.k.a. he had help. Yeah, I've also heard word of them traveling out somewhere far at a certain time and coming back, and we'll see. We'll get into it. Again, hundreds up in the chat for y'all. Please hit that like button, and we're going to get it popping. Let's go start with the whole what is going on in Mexico. All right, let me hit this record here. Let me hit this record here. Sky News. We'll see what they talk about. Everybody want cookies. Cookies. Got cookies. Every website. All right, let's do this. How do I get this ad out of here? Maybe I can't. Boom. Let's get it. Mexico. Thousands march against crime and corruption in Generation Z protests, with 100 police injured. Mexico has seen a recent spate of high-profile unalivings, including the fatal unaliving of the mayor of Uruapan municipality during the Day of the Unalive festivities at the start of the month. All right, we'll get to this video in a sec. Thousands have taken to the streets of Mexico to protest against crime and corruption, with 120 people left injured, according to the authorities. Pablo Vasquez, security secretary for Mexico's capital, said that if those injured 100 were police officers, of those injured, 100 were police officers with 40 hospitalized, while 20 people were arrested. Right? I saw those police officers getting that ass handed to them. And handed to them it got. We'll see how it got there. But it seemed like the rest of the world got this protesting. They're able to protest a little bit more than we are. For all that freedom we talk about, it seems like their protest is a little wilder. Right? The demonstration, which was mostly peaceful. We didn't hear much about the peaceful part. They don't want to put that on blast, of course. The demonstration, which was mostly peaceful but ended with some clashes with officers, was organized by young people under the banner Generation Z. What's this dude? He's rapping, singing? What's it? You need a weapon, a shield or some shit. Clara Brugada, mayor of Mexico City, said on X that violent expression violates the rights of others, and condemned any act carried out by a radical group of protesters. One group, calling itself Generation Z Mexico, called for the protests and said in a manifesto circulating on social media that it represents Mexican youth fed up with violence, corruption, and abuse of power. Mexico has seen a recent spate of high-profile unalivings, including the fatal unaliving of the mayor of Uruapan municipality during the Day of the Unalive festivities at the start of the month. Supporters of Carlos Alberto Manso Rodriguez, an outspoken critic of organized crime, were seen on Saturday wearing straw hats, a symbol of the mayor's political movement. Eyewitnesses told the Reuters news agency that a small group of protesters tore down fences around the National Palace, where Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum lives, leading to clashes with riot police who used tear gas. They're dead. It's a lot of people. It's a whole lot of people. These boys is shelled up right here. Y'all need some Tony Stark shit. Buddy's in here on some Jordan 13s, on some political protest violence shit right here. Some demonstrators in Mexico protested against Ms. Sheinbaum's party, while others called for stronger state efforts to stop crime and violence, shouting, "Carlos did not die, the government unalived him." Other marches took place across Mexico, including in western state of Michoacan, where Mr. Manso was unalived. Reuters reported that Mexico's government is claiming that the protests on Saturday were organized largely by right-leaning political opponents and were promoted by bots on social media. Bots on social media can't go out there and break some shit. People can. Now, did the promotion of bots get more people involved? Maybe. I don't know. Is there some political payout? Some, what's the word? Some person like Soros, who's supposedly out there funding these protests and things like that, doing this? Or is it an insult to frustrated people to sit there and give the credit for their rage to someone else? It's one of those two things, or it could be one of many things, but are you taking the credit away from the people, their anger? Are you deafening yourself to their anger and making their anger mute by blaming it on a political party? Can this not be exactly what they say they are? Youth, tired and pissed off with the violence? Why does it always have to be something else? Huh? Is that just how the human imagination works? Switch it up. Whatever it really is, we gotta see what it could be. Political parties promoting something with bots that cause the people to go and protest like this and be this deep, and for the most part, protest, what's the word? Peacefully, right? For the most part. When the peace was over, I seen some police getting smacked up pretty bad. Pretty bad. And I don't know what the police did to them. Videos are always geared towards whoever uploaded that shit. You know what I'm saying? They cut it off right before you see something that can give you context, or they cut it on right after you could have seen something that gave it context. But does this have to be some kind of operation? Same thing here. So many people hit the streets in protest in the United States. What was that? Somebody did that, or are people just tired of the bullshit? Does it always have to be something else? The government never seems to want to call shit what it is. This can very well be. Now, is Sky News reporting this peacefulness overblown? Was there more violence? This looks crazy. But he don't got no regular shit right here. He got what looks like a one of those I-beams. Steel I-beam. That's what it looks like. On a pole, it's probably just some jagged wood on a stick. But, you know. Buddy's in some Timbs over here. We saw the other kid in some 13s. What's going on over here, man? It's just a sneakerhead in me watching. But could it be? Could it be that these kids are just fed up with this shit? Let's see what we can. I don't know. Let's see if they clap me for this.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey. Thousands march in Gen Z protests. All right, that ain't doing much. He broke their shield though. Mexico's seen a recent spate of high-profile unalivings. I read that already. Buddy got his hard hat on. Some carry the flag with the smiling skull and crossbones. Hold on. I need to see this. The problem is when you pause it, they blur it, which is some bullshit.
Bullshit.
Let me see that again. Some carry the flag with smiling skull and crossbones from the Japanese manga series One Piece. Yo, anime, everybody you pick up a symbol from the anime, you keep it moving, huh? Shit. Didn't they get in the building? Is this the same as January 6th? Huh? That one, I can tell you, looked extremely incited. That wasn't just, I mean, mind you, that it was a group of angry rednecks. Not the good ones. And what they want to do? They wanted to rage, right? I ain't see no candidate for president of Mexico standing there telling them to go hard like dude did. Like Trumpito did. They had their own, y'all ever seen the movie Warriors? They had their own Cyrus. Can you dig it? He went up there, gave a speech. They got mad. They ran off and started tearing shit up. Is that and this the same thing? I don't think so. I don't think so. This is frustration when it rises. That was, a lot of things. Bigotry, racism, classism from people who ain't even in the same class. But these ain't just kids. Seeing some old heads in this crowd. All right, this dude right here ain't no fucking kid. I see some Gen A, B, C, E, F, G over here. I don't just see kids. Oh shit, that's all we had to do to pull Nando out. Talk along party lines. Salute Nando. APB's down on Nando. Bro, anime is a cult. Shit. Anime is crazy. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. And what's your take, Nando? Nando said fake ass crowd. So this is a fake crowd? What does that mean, a fake crowd? So they're not angry protesters? Is that what you're telling me? Juan gotta be able to have more people at his concert. Okay, I get that part. Doesn't take a million people in downtown Chicago to do some shit. It just take more people than police. So okay, but explain to me. You want to take the link? I'll throw you the link. You can talk your shit. But or tell me in the chat. Why was this fake? This is what? This is from the other political party. These people suck. She said fighting the cartel is illegal.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Shout out Tere on the check-in. Shout out Nando on the check-in. Shout out Raven. Salutes to you. Ricardo Salinas Pliejo is pushing and promoting this BS. Look him up. Wannabe Donald Trump billionaire. So he just paid a bunch of... So he got his own... He got a political cartel that he pays to go just wreak some havoc, huh? So where's the real frustrated kids, though? Where they at? They're not frustrated? They're okay with the violence? They don't care? because I mean, they had a crowd of people. It was a big enough crowd to protest, to break some shit. I'm sure the cameraman got right up on the end of it and, made it look bigger than what it was. But this can't be a group of angry kids right here. I see old ass men in here, though. But it can't be the frustrated people. Well, I wish it was. In every case. Across the world. I wish it was the frustrated people. Maybe something will change. I don't see that shit happening right now. Shout out Nando. I meant fake in terms of it being small crowd being pushed on by the right. The same right. Pena Nieto, Calderon, Fox, who had Genaro Garcia Luna. That side is the one trying to pin this. I'm just waiting for a time where something happens and everybody in unison agrees that it's organic. I'm waiting for organic outrage. And all I ever hear is there's a plan. Somebody's plan. I get it. These people are playing games with the world. All right? They're all up there fucking swinging their little dicks, playing powerful and all this shit when the people don't realize that not just a group of paid protesters, but the real people, the power belongs to the people, and they can knock these motherfuckers down. But I'll never hear that organic part. Everything turns into a thing and everybody's corporation, and now this is evil, that's evil, now it's nefarious. It started as something pure and everything's bastardized. So I might as well mind my motherfucking business and do what I can and stay out of everybody's fucking way, because it ain't going to change no matter how hard I scream and shout, because, there's going to be a machine that discredits it by some pedo in a fucking big building somewhere. Shout out Nando. I'm sure some do feel this way. Won't say all of them are fake. I hear you. I'm just wondering when shit. What is it? What's the next? Is there gonna be? That's it. There's no more real shit. Real shit over with. Nothing organic, huh? It's crazy. Crazy. So here's the thing. Is it still going on? Is it an overblown story? Is that what you're telling me? Is it still happening? That story was from 3 days ago. Let me see. There's so much crap and craziness going on in every direction. Too much to keep up with. It's a lot. It's a lot. Again, shout out to Nando. I appreciate your input. Thank you for coming through. But I don't see nothing else, nothing newer than that. So I guess it's over. I've been getting texts all week, people asking me if Mexico's burning down. I said, yeah, so many different ways. But what they meant was this. So I guess the story was overblown. Shout out Nando. He says it's over already. That's crazy. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. If you got no more comments about that, if you do, let it be known in the chat. All right, let me drop some links in here quickly. Bones, just links for our other channels. I don't know, man. I'm waiting for the day the people really get mad and do some shit. Do you think this would have happened if Maya was free? I don't know that he had his hands in everything. I don't know that he could stop everything from happening. You know? Quite possible. Send some goons over there. Hey, everybody sit your ass down. My point is that if you could fight the police like that, then you could fight the cartels like that. But, you know, it'd take a lot of lives to get lost. A lot of alliances, and the reality is nothing's real anymore. Shout out Nando. When I was working remote in Mexico City, they had a march every other day. They start where Ángel de Independencia is at and ends at El Zócalo. Okay. See, I need that information. Thank you for sharing that with me. That makes me feel good. That there's some, I don't know if I can say the word. For those that don't know, I was censored for using the word pushback today on YouTube. But there's pushback and protest, man. I don't just agree with this shit. Can it cost you? Yes. You know? But I'm looking for the humanity in the protest. It'd be mad political. And then the people that run these groups, they fuck up and it taints the whole situation. Shout out Nando. I got pictures of my parents at one of the protests. They were hardcore Morena. The Morena party. To me, the fuckery crosses party lines at this point. And I'm just looking for the people to get mad. Again, maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe them being mad won't solve nothing. I don't know. But it's always somebody. It's always something. Some nefarious villain hand behind everything, evidently. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see if there's more protests. What'd you say? You said December 6th? We'll see what it's like December 6th. We'll see what it's like December 6th. Because, coño, man. The way they was beating them police, shit. Where'd all that energy come from? You can use that energy a lot of places. Shout out Nando. I'm not pro Morena, but I've never seen them care or be hyped up about Mexico politics before. Okay, I hear you. That's that part that I'm looking for. They have it, of course. You know what I'm saying? That's that human part. Where this shit is wrong. Something got to be done. But no, everything is attributed to something else, evidently. Let's see if this Borderland Beat article gives me anything else. Gives me more images. We could check those out. Generation Z March, older people, opposition, politicians, and partisan slogans. Boy, those are flag words on my channel. Hit the like button. With the participation of thousands of people, marches were held this Saturday by the self-proclaimed Generation Z, referring to people born between 1995 and 2012. And the Hat March, both departing from the Angel of Independence and ending at the Zócalo, which is what Nando just described. Although both marches proceeded peacefully and reached the Plaza de la Constitución, several protesters began to attack the metal barriers surrounding the National Palace, attempting to tear them down. This prompted police to fire tear gas and fire extinguishers from the barrier within. See, here's my thought. My thought is these people marching, they marching for a cause. Them people fighting, probably the people put into play by somebody with a nefarious hand behind the curtain.
Jonathan Pantria sent $2 salutes. Chill my dude, Il Cartel members, and chat. I hope you all are having a blessed and grateful Wednesday. Like and subscribe to the great quality content. It's free. Fuck El Tubo. Fuck censorship demonetization. Prayers for Mexico. Coño Main.
Salutes JP. Alright. Salutes JP for the $2 power chat. Salute Shael, my dude, Il Cartel members in chat. Hope you all having a blessed and grateful Wednesday. Like and subscribe to the great quality content. It's free. Don't cost you a damn thing. Fuck El Tubo. Fuck censorship demonetization. Prayers for Mexico. Coño man. I need a coño man on the soundboard, man. We need a coño man on the soundboard, bro. Alright, salutes JP. Alright, hopped out of his ghillie suit, walked in on some. Thank you for being here, sir. It's always a pleasure. Hit the like button, y'all. Party promotes Morena Party. The party promotes anti-corruption, social welfare programs, and policies centered on economic and political reform. It's a new party. Been officially in office 2 terms. I hear a lot about Morena, but didn't know what they were. Didn't take a lot of paid actors to rile up a crowd. 10 or 15 crazy motherfuckers can't rile up a crowd. Wolfpack syndrome. That's all it takes. It just takes one motherfucker to cast the first stone. That's it. Then we go from there. All right. Although organized separately, the 2 demonstrations shared the same schedule and route and have similar demands. Rejection of the Morena Party and the vindication of the figure of Carlos Manso, the unalived mayor of Uruapan, Michoacán. Again, we don't see shoulder-to-shoulder people, but a march is a march. All right? The frustration is the frustration. It's real. Sometimes it's bullshit. Sometimes it's a bunch of hired motherfuckers to go out there and stir up some shit. The march, which proceeded peacefully and now has reached the Zócalo, was led by the Hat Movement, closely linked to Manso. Behind them was the mobilization organized several days ago by the group known as Generation Z. Chanting slogans like Carlos wasn't unalived, the government unalived him. And out with Morena. The demonstrators marched along Paseo de la Reforma, many dressed in white and wearing hats like the ones Manso used to wear. Carlos Manso, hero of Mexico. Hats yes, hugs no. I don't believe. See, that's probably what. See, I don't understand. How can I do this? Let me explain this properly. Because people, when they see my shorts on TikTok, and again, I've said it before, TikTok is the bottom of the barrel of just angry motherfuckers that just want to talk shit to you. And the moment they hear anything that I say, they think I'm on some party line and they start talking shit. And they think I'm one side or the other. I think both sides of every political situation right now at this point in society and civilization are crooked, corrupt, and horseshit, and it's all a scam. Okay? So they hear me say so they're probably confused because they'll hear another video where I'm shitting on whoever they're shitting on. You know? But it seems like a clusterfuck as far as I'm concerned, of people just yelling at each other over these political farces. Politicians are not there for the people. Period. Period. Point blank. They are a corporation amongst themselves. You and I are workers. That's it. That's all. As far as they're concerned, what did Charlie Chaplin say? Machine men with machine hearts and machine minds. That's it. Ciao, JP. Salute, Shia, my dude, Il Cartel members of the chat. Hope y'all having a blessed and grateful Whopper Wednesday. Like and subscribe to the great quality content. It's free. Don't cost you a damn thing. Shout out Nando. Shy, random comment. Are you a fan of Immortal Technique? He's doing a show outside of Chicago next week. Yeah. Definitely a fan of Immortal Technique. Definitely a fan of Immortal Technique. We've been in some same places I don't think we've ever met before. Yeah. So that's what it is, man. They had their protests. See, it's not just young people out there. But is this politically driven or is it driven by the need for something different? Listen, I believe there are people that are upset that a man cut from the cloth of Don Alejo, Santa Miriam, like Carlos Manso, was terminated the way he was. And I believe people are going to protest about that. And I believe it only takes a couple of agitators to send shit the other way. You know? And start getting police stomped out. And I synced it. I'm not going to play it because I can't. But yeah, I believe that, you know, just like anything, there's an organic component to it of people that are frustrated and brave enough to protest, because you have to be brave to protest in some of these places. And then you got a mix of agitators, provocateurs. Damn, they got to burn and shit?
Granaderos, todos ustedes son pueblos, son parte del pueblo, tienen hijos, tienen hermanos, tienen familia, tienen madre. A ustedes también los matan, güey. Por
motherfuckers is in there on skateboards and shit. Alright, hey, watch. Can't play this shit. Now, you know, the one you can say, oh, the ones that started breaking shit, they bastardized this protest. They stained it. But I think there comes a time in a civilization where everybody feels that way and everybody starts breaking some shit. And that'll be the only way, if that ever happens. And those people in power will say, oh, well, somebody like you would say that because you want it to happen or this, that, or no. You don't want it to happen because your livelihood and the kickbacks you've been surviving on, your whole generations upon generations of your families have been eating off of, is in danger the moment that the people figure out that your table is laid across their back. And when they stand up, all your meal goes to the floor. And those people that stood up ain't going to eat that meal. They're going to go in your cupboard. And they're going to cook in your kitchen, sit on your couch, and have a beer. And that's what they're afraid of. They say, oh no, this will hurt the people. You don't give a fuck about the people. You care about your position of power. If you asked all these politicians, if you had a magic wand, and you could tell them, all you got to do is give up whatever power you have. And that'll fix every problem in this country. For everybody. Not just the people at the top. He would never give it up, not one of them. I don't believe it. They only look for more power. They don't look for less. We move up. It's like jiu-jitsu. You don't move forward, you don't move back. No, you move forward, and that's it. That's your spot. That's where you start. And then you move to the next spot. No backwards. So, they all fear that. Governments across the world fear that. Fear the people just standing up at the table. Everything on the floor. The whole kit and caboodle on the fucking floor. Alright, man. 100's up in the chat for y'all. Good conversation. Thank you, Nando, for your insight. Appreciate you. Can't lose their kickbacks. Can't lose that power. Gotta have the power. Gotta have it. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, alright?
Mono con los ojos tapados.
Y'all see Ronaldo Cristiano at the White House? Nah, I'm not paying that much attention, but everybody's at the White House lately. All you gotta do is want to go there. That's it. Just gotta want to go there. All right, hit the like button if you have yet to do so. We chilling. We got a couple more stories to cover. About to get into our second one. All right, salute to everybody that's not here. I'm sure Tubo didn't send out the no, though. Some people are busy. We got some APBs out. We cleared one up today. Let's see. Shout out Shannon. All right, let's get it. Let us get it. Markitos Toys requests legal protection in Mexicali. For those who don't know who Markitos Toys is, he's a popular YouTuber, big YouTuber. He supposedly on the pizza side, and he's been on those flyers, those snitch flyers where they snitch on each other. They throw these flyers out and they say all of these YouTubers, all these entertainers and celebrities are working for those guys. They're laundering money for those guys. That's what they do. That's what they say. All right? They say those guys over there and these guys, they're in cahoots. And then the other team, they throw flyers and they say, no, boy, you see these celebrities are getting money from those guys. To me, and they're telling the people, separate yourself from them. These people are criminals. I don't know. If that's not snitching, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, you almost scared me. I thought I jumped on my ghillie suit for no reason. Whatever could you be talking about? I think I know. Shout out there to Shy. I feel like these billionaires dining at the White House is tone deaf. Too much going on. They sitting on their butts. Overwhelming shit. Yeah, no, everybody's they don't realize that they're the scraps at the bottom of the fucking barrel. You gotta at least know that you're the scrap at the bottom of the barrel. Right? And they just want to be seen at the White House. This is my opportunity to go to the White House. Don't matter who's in there. What? I don't care if they didn't go last with the last president either. Whatever. They're all criminals, crooks. All right? Fuck it. For no reason. So Markitos Toys is one of those guys that they say got his fortune and was financed and backed by the cartels. During this war, his brother was taken out at a restaurant. His family home was attacked. His businesses have been attacked. He's been on the move, and from what we heard, pretending nothing's wrong, nothing happened. Everything's okay. A-okay. No problems around here. Well, it seems that is no longer the case. Right? Shout out Fernando for the Venmo. Appreciate you, sir. Influencer and social media content creator Marco Eduardo Castro Caldenas, better known as Markitos Toys, filed a writ of amparo, a constitutional protection action in a federal court in Mexicali against acts that deprive him of his liberty and even extradition or exile orders. What? Yeah, shout out Nando. Everything's okay. My brother just got on the live. Well, from my understanding, I believe he's been quiet since then. To give him credit for that, but salutes to Nando. You know? But yeah. So what does that mean? He filed for a writ of amparo, a constitutional protection action in a federal court in Mexicali against acts that deprive him of his liberty and even extradition or exile orders. The YouTuber's lawsuit was filed in the 2nd District Court in the state of Baja California and was lodged against the President of the Republic and other authorities. Markitos Toys claims that any orders issued or about to be issued, whether verbal or written, against me to deprive me of my liberty, including freedom of movement by land or air. So is he telling them, listen, if y'all are about to come down on me, I'm going to file this writ so that y'all can't come down on me? I don't understand how that works or what that sounds like. We'll get there. We'll get clarity on it. He also requests constitutional protection against acts that threaten my health and my life, including being detained, beaten, mistreated, disappeared, or subjected to any illegal criminal or administrative proceedings. Wait, what? There's a writ? I want to file that writ. I want to be protected from anything that could ever get in my way. Right? You shouldn't be allowed to ask for this protective order if you brought it upon yourself. And here's the thing, do they, when they're going through these writs, do they have that hearing to discuss that? They be like, Papas, you've been out here Lamborghini, periquito ping ping. I party, you've been all over the place. Partying your ass off. Are you part of this game? Why should we protect you if you're in the game? Do you have information? That's what it sounds like to me. Hey! Just letting you know, I'm willing, able, and prepared to file paperwork and to put things down on paper, all right? I'm totally ready and able to do it the legal way. You understand? So I'm just letting you know, if you need me to say something, everybody.
You're stealing, right to jail.
Straight to
You're
jail.
playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail.
No. Yeah, Nando, you wrote it like that because I almost got it like that. It took me a minute to figure it out. Shout out Nando. Everybody thought something bad happened to Nando's brother and shit. That man knows something's coming down the pipeline. Am I wrong? That's what it sounds like, right? Hey, man. Hey, I hear whispers that y'all gonna come bust my shit. Right? Listen, here. I want to be protected from all of this. So let me get this protection constitutionally, and we'll talk about the rest later. You know what I'm saying? Or we won't talk about it. Just don't tell nobody we talked about it. Shh.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
out Raven. Let's see. Castro Cardenas also seeks legal protection against a possible blocking. That's what it is.
Jonathan Pantria sent $2 K Dios te bendiga con eso my homie Chi Lol. Shout out to Zoraida.
Shout out JP for the $2 power check. Que Dios te bendiga con eso, my homie Shy. At this point, I don't even know what you're referring to, so you can just tell me in the chat. And shout out to Zoraida. Salute to Zoraida. Positive vibes wherever Zoraida's at. We know she'll join us when she can, if she can. Salutes to her. Salutes to JP for the $2 power chat. Appreciate it. That will not stop him from being a target. Mexico's about money. Yeah, he's saying, listen, you need to protect me against the police you send to arrest me. You need to protect me against the laws you plan to charge me with violating. You need to protect me from all of the decisions that I've made in my life. Please. Thank you. Now, the question is, do they protect them or they send them to go
Now
get
go home and get your fucking shine box.
So check this out. Castro Cardenas also seeks legal protection against any blocking of financial transactions. So I hear you're going to freeze my assets and my bank accounts. Please don't do that. Legal protection against a possible blocking of financial transactions, exile, extradition, and being transferred out of Mexico. Ordered against me by some of the authorities. What? Wow, boy. Among the authorities he refers to in his petition are the district criminal courts in Mexico City, the Attorney General of the Republic, and the Secretary of Foreign Affairs and the head of the National Guard. From the SRE itself, he mentions the Director General of Legal Affairs and the Director of International Criminal Cooperation of the Directorate General of Legal... Ah, my God, with the fucking titles. As well as the Director General of International Police Affairs and Interpol. Coño, man. Get parched fucking with these syllables. Oh, shout out JP. Good luck with that. Que Dios le bendiga con eso. Shah, you want a legal protection from anything that could ever get in your way. That's all I'm not. Am I asking for too much? Huh? Am I talking crazy? I don't think I'm talking crazy. The petition for legal protection against detention and acts prohibited. So listen, I'm protected from the dudes, the criminals that want to smoke me. I'm protected from the police that want to arrest me and the laws you want to charge me with. That's crazy. The petition for legal protection against detention, and I probably got it all wrong here, you know. I'm nobody's lawyer. I probably got this all wrong, but that's what it sounds like to me. This sounds like that's what he wants. I don't even know why something like this would exist, but we'll see. The petition for legal protection against detention and acts prohibited by Article 22 of the Constitution is currently under review for clarification before being admitted or, if applicable, dismissed or having jurisdiction declined. For now, Judge Carlo Gary Diaz granted an injunction against the actions challenged, which she sees as potentially leading to mistreatment, exile, or extradition. Markitos Toys, originally from Culiacan, became notorious on social media for flaunting his lavish lifestyle, including trips to Europe and the Caribbean, high-end cars, exclusive parties, and the purchase of a small plane for his father. The influencer is identified by Mexican and U.S. authorities for his alleged ties to Los Chapitos, faction of the Sinaloa Bartel, sons of rug trafficker Joaquin Pocha Goose. Markitos Toys and some members of his family are being investigated by the Financial Intelligence Unit for their alleged involvement in funneling illicit funds into the national financial system. All right? Money laundering. Markitos Toys' alleged affiliation with the Chapitos Bartel has led to the unaliving of his brother Gael Castro on March 28, 2025, while he was eating at a restaurant in Ensenada, and the arson attacks on 2 restaurants linked to him in Culiacan. Since the capture of Yoma in July 2024, the Castro siblings, Gail, Marcos, Kevin, and Myvi, have been the target of verbal and armed attacks. These attacks are attributed to the Yomas faction, Zambala's sons. That's a lot of crazy, a lot of crazy ask. He's asking for a whole lot of shit. He's asking for a whole lot of shit right there. Right. To CSAT. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That's it. Straight to CSAT. Here on El Tubo, it sounds wild with how Saturday went. Man, bro. Saturday was a shit show of a stream. For real, for real. That money's his too. He got all the monies. I don't know that they're going to give him this protection. I don't know why they would. I don't know who would get this protection. I like a case file of someone who got it with the reasons why they got it, because I don't even understand why it exists. Listen, you're going to freeze my assets to investigate me, but somebody going to come smoke me if you freeze my assets and I can't move around and protect myself. And you're not going to protect me. Is basically what he's saying, right? Somebody in the chat tell me if I'm wrong. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Right. I put out the link to crimes out there. All right, if you're shopping for the holiday season, make sure you use our Amazon affiliates link. No extra cost to you, but they do give the channel a kickback. So all you have to do is click the link, search, do your shopping, check out, and we get a kickback. So if you're going to be shopping anyway at no extra cost to you, you can help us out. I'd appreciate it. Links in the chat. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Make sure you check out our Survival Frog links. If you're looking for, bug out bags, if you got to get away quick like Markitos, he's trying to say, listen, don't block my bug out bag. Right? We got DUBBY Energy links out there. We got NordVPN links if you're looking to keep your IP address and all of that stuff secret. Straight to jail.
You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail.
That money
right
is
away.
history.
You're
Oh, he don't
driving too
got
fast,
that money?
Jail. Slow, jail.
Money's not his too? That money's history. His money, the money that they're about to freeze, I think he knows they're about to freeze his shit. I don't know about dude, but sounds pretty on. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't think they're going to give dude his protections. We'll see how that works. Don't make sense to me. Shit sounds lopsided. Boom. Salute to y'all. Hundreds up in the chat. How long we been here? Hour and 11 minutes. Again, we got other stories to cover through the week. We'll be back Friday night, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Boom. All right, now let's get to this Davis situation. They're gonna keep his ends. Who is the government? Yeah, as soon as they freeze it, that's it. He's not getting that shit back. Nah, that's on him. I'd ignore him. Hold on, we need to record these. All right, Raven said they're going to take his bread. They're going to get all his money. He's going straight to jail.
You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail.
CSAT. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. They're going to keep his ends, and that's on him. I'd ignore him. So if they don't believe that they're going to give him shit, no protection. Executive order his money. Damn, just it's mine now. What you going to do about it? Gonna sue me? Come on, man. Crazy talk. Crazy talk. All right. Let's get to this Davis story. these links. All right, I just got word from my boat watch number guy, right?
Hey, too much information and shit.
Said we had 22 blown up boats by the United States. With one survivor that nobody knows what the fuck, where's he at, what happened. Doesn't matter. They don't even. See it, no fishing, bro. Don't get in a boat this year. Just stay out of the boats. Sorry, I'm looking around my phone and shit. Yeah, we'll probably talk about that Friday. Shutterbomb wants to be the moderator for Venezuela and the U.S. Who's the moderator for Mexico and the U.S.? You know what I mean? What are we talking about here? She's wilding. You know? She is wilding all the way out. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. Let's find this.
If you manage a team or run operations, I like to make tutorials my team can.
Gonna need to see the feds coming down harder.
Shout out Shannon for the timestamp on this. So we didn't need all the other stuff they got here. Wow. All right, this is a couple of days back before they announced that David was indeed a suspect and this was a homicide case. Shout out Nando. I want the U.S. to love Mexico the way it loves Israel. Yeah. Yeah. The problem is, it ain't the U.S. and it ain't Mexico. It's the people at the top in the U.S. and the people at the top in Mexico. Me and you and you know, whoever's listening to us in Mexico, we're the United States and Mexico, but that ain't how it moves. That ain't how it moves. War games out here. All right.
Seems like such a slap in the face. As I said at the start of this, I was very convinced that, like, look, if I get caught with a body in my trunk, I'm definitely going to jail immediately. I'm definitely doing a few years at the very bare minimum. There's a big difference between getting caught with a body in your trunk in California and any shred of proof proving that you drove a car with a dead body in it, or that you killed somebody in a different state. You drove a body state to state. You put that dead body in your trunk. You drove it all around Route 66 or whatever they call it for an American tour. You starting to look cooked. Starting to look like you're in a lot of trouble. Starting to look like federal crime could have been committed. And so when Steve Fisher says, yes, the FBI is definitely involved in this case,
hold on, she gave me
I'm not surprised. Okay? And now I'm thinking maybe this is why the LAPD haven't had much to say. Maybe the LAPD aren't dealing with this case anymore. Maybe the big boys have come in. I've heard stories about that when I talk about, you know, in my main channel or even on this channel sometimes, when I talk about gangster rap, gang rappers, drill rappers, rappers that, or, you know, drill rappers that are involved in gangs and murders have been committed in different places. You got Lil Durk sitting down federal murder for hire charges. They flew out on a private jet to California and killed somebody about a beef with a rapper from Savannah, Georgia, and a killing that took place in Atlanta, Georgia, and then the murder's happening in LA and you're all from Chicago. That's when things start to get federal. And sometimes in those cases, you know, the Chicago police or the local police, they kind of get out of their depth. And that's when the feds come in. That's when the big boys come in. So it really wouldn't surprise me, man. So this is another post on the Dave Idiots subreddit saying PI Steve Fisher says FBI is definitely involved in the case death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It says Steve Fisher said this in response to another tweet that reads, Steve, I have a question. Should the feds be involved in this since it looks like she went across state lines? And he says, yes, the FBI is definitely involved in the case. This post went on to say, we might assume that Steve is therefore speaking hypothetically, but the question included the presumption that Celeste was indeed taken across state lines. It was not a question about whether or not she was taken. It was not a question about whether or not she was taken across state lines. So basically, the question included the presumption. Okay, and he's saying yes, the FBI is definitely involved. He's saying definitely. Okay, Steve not only confirmed that the FBI was involved, he also indirectly confirmed that Celeste was in fact taken across state lines. Now, she could have been taken across state lines in the trunk, and no disrespect, I've just got to speak matter of fact so you understand what I'm saying, in the form of a dead body, no longer being alive. Or she could have been taken across state lines as a living, breathing minor in a relationship with an adult. And again, when you start talking about, oh, $10,000 fine and misdemeanor, I don't want to live in a society where Diddy, and this is no defense of Diddy, but Diddy is freaking off, flying girls across flying alleged sex workers across state lines, getting prostitution charges, doing 4 years in jail. But you really going to tell me that somebody can drive across state lines with a minor and be doing all of this stuff, and then she ends up dead in a trunk? We're going to need to see the feds coming down harder on David than Diddy if this stuff works out to be true, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, okay?
She shouldn't have ever been with him to cross no state lines, none of that shit. And he should have been in custody. Now he's a suspect. At this point, I don't think they had mentioned it yet. This was just the FBI taking over the case. And we don't know how long the FBI has had this case in their hands. But hopefully they're doing their fucking job. And where's this dude at? They had to have had their eyes on him. Miss me with he's considered a suspect and he's still not in custody. Should have been in custody before it even came out that he was a suspect. But I don't know, I'm crazy.
In my humble opinion, as always. All right. People are saying this is a bit of a stretch. The FBI are involved because she was a minor who was dating a grown man. Anytime you cross state lines.
All right, so boom, that's the FBI getting involved. We're going to move on to him being a suspect and this actually being a homicide. All right? Let's do that. See what TMZ is talking about. I agree with that. Nando said you can't trust anything that Kash Patel leads. But then again, we could say that for anybody that's leading any of these organizations, unfortunately. He's creepy, sadistic kind of dude. Who? David? He's a jerk-off. I swear I'm officially about to throw the name David along with all other creepy people's names. Just throw the shit out, the whole thing. That's a huge old hopefully, in my humble opinion. What? Hopefully to what, JP? That they treat him harsher than they did Diddy. Yeah, Diddy, again, he is in prison right now. Not for paying for prosties, not for domestic violence, not for trafficking. He's in prison for paying for the transportation of men to be with his woman. That's what he's in prison over. That is the facts. Shout out Primo on the check-in. That is the facts. People don't want to argue about that. People want to argue about that, but there's no argument. That's the facts. That's just the facts. Railroaded. Dominic Dunn became a... And I was prepared for him to pay for all his transgressions. But that just shows me you could just be mad at me and put me in jail for a certain amount of time just because you feel like it. Shout out Pure Art on the check-in. Apples and oranges. Yes, totally different shit, Raven. You're absolutely right. Hopefully in the feds. Yeah, we shall see. So this is from 2 days ago. This is an update from Harvey. Let's check out Harvey's update from a couple of days ago. This is probably the FBI update.
Thought we were gonna see the world.
Does the LAPD have the goods to set their sights on an individual? So let's talk about David and Celeste Rivas. We have spoken with people at the LAPD today, and they are not close to making an arrest. We are told it is, quote, nowhere imminent that an arrest will be made. That doesn't mean there won't be one, but there is a chance there won't be one in the sense that we don't even know if this was a homicide. And we pushed today to find out and could not get an answer on whether the medical examiner has weighed in and whether the toxicology findings are in. It would seem to me that in LA, even though it can take several months for toxicology to come in, that given the nature of this case, we are now talking mid-November, they must have the tox results by now. And again, it could show that, and this is just hypothetically, Celeste Rivas died from, say, a drug overdose. That's not a homicide.
Bruh, he been pushing this shit from the beginning, from the top. Harvey Levin has been pushing this shit. He's been pushing the dude didn't do it, could be a frame, could be this, could be that. He's been pushing it.
So there obviously is something, if her body indeed was cut up, because that's mutilation of a body and that's a crime. But it's not murder. It's not manslaughter. And that's what everybody is focused on right now. So does the LAPD have the goods to set their sights on an individual? The only way they can do that is once they know what the manner of death was. Again, if the manner of death was not foul play, there may well not be any kind of homicide here. And we pushed, and we cannot get an answer that they're close to making an arrest, that they have a suspect. All we're told is it is not imminent. We are 2.5 months in here. They must have the toxicology report by now. And, you know, if they've got video of somebody putting the body in the Tesla on Doheny Drive, that doesn't mean that person is responsible for the death of Celeste Rivas. It just means that they put a body in a car. And of course, you can talk to that person, and maybe that person will talk. Maybe that person won't talk. Maybe that person has direct knowledge of who did what, but we don't know any of that. The only reason I'm giving this update now is after having this conversation with LAPD, it does not feel like we're going to find out today or this week or anytime soon that somebody is responsible for her death. Again, it could be that three things. One is that they have a suspect who is going to be charged with homicide. 2, that they have determined that it wasn't a homicide at all. Or 3, that even if they determine it was a homicide, they may not be able to pinpoint exactly who did it. I will tell you that we have heard some conflicting information on this, but
I feel like it's all going to get stupider and stupider. Like, this story just keeps getting stupider and stupider. It's all going to get more ridiculous as the time goes. And when we finally get the real story, maybe there's a couple of things that we might have thought in there, but it's going to be more stupid shit that probably should, well, that we know shouldn't have happened. It's just going to be a shit show. All right? All right, shut up, Pure Art. I'm for asking questions, but until proving otherwise, why is this guy coming up with so many scenarios? You could do that for any case. For any case, bro. For any case. It's kind of like when people say, I don't know if you ever seen a video, this dude's making a dish, and the lady said, oh, if you added this, it would be something else. She named something else. And he was like, well, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. Like, you could say that for anything. This guy's been doing that from the beginning. I mean, hard. Maybe it had nothing to do with it. Maybe we're going to see how it goes going forward. Sidebar Harvey can't be that dumb. Clout chasing. Sidebar Harvey. That's great. It's a witch hunt. It's fake. Hollywood like always. Come on, man. That little girl was very real, Pure Art. Don't be a cuck. Then I shared his son from yesterday, updating he's a suspect. Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Wait, whose son? That's Harvey's son? What, his partner? What you talking about? Whose son? You lost me now.
Quantitatively today, what we got back was nowhere near solving this crime. That's what we got. It doesn't mean we've been told everything, but clearly we have not been told everything. But again, it's 2.5 months in, and as time ticks away, this case seems more and more complicated.
Every time I opened that spreadsheet, my soul left my body.
Damn, these AI. They're even making commercials with real actors look like AI.
I had that too, but I switched to pipe drive.
Humans are fucking goofy. All right, let's get it. We'll go to the next video in the chronology of their channel, TMZ's channel.
Hey everybody, we just broke a big story, a huge story really, on the website in the David investigation, in the investigation into Celeste Rivas' death. I know everyone has been waiting to hear something about this. It has been 2 months since Celeste's decomposing body was found in David's Tesla, and now we know, if you for 1 second thought that the police had forgotten about this and this case was not going to be solved, we now know that the police have been working diligently on this case. And here's what we have found out from our law enforcement sources. David is viewed as a suspect in this case.
Shout out PR. Oh, I don't know nothing about this one. Exactly. Salutes.
May seem obvious, but remember, our law enforcement sources.
David is a suspect.
David is viewed as a suspect in this case. That may seem obvious, but remember, they have not publicly said anything like that. They have not even said publicly that he is a person of interest.
They didn't even say it was a homicide.
To several well-placed sources in law enforcement, and they say that in the investigation, they are viewing him as a suspect.
Oh shit! Shout out Velez on the check-in. Salutes. Welcome. Thank you for being here, sir.
Another thing is they're viewing this as a homicide. We told you more than a month ago that the key thing here is police were waiting to get the medical examiner report back, and they wanted to find out the manner and cause of death. They wanted that from the medical examiner because the reality is at this point, yes, they know that her body was decomposing, that it was chopped up, but they don't know how she died, and they were waiting for those results. We are told they still do not have toxicology results from the medical examiner's office. However, what investigators do know so far is leading them to treat this as a homicide. They're still waiting for the medical examiner report to back that up, but they are viewing David as a suspect and viewing this as a homicide. So
Shout out Nando.
There's something else here that's...
Harvey Levin was the white guy previously reporting is blindsided that David is a suspect. Yeah, this is the very next video on the topic. But good, we got some real information. Why he didn't do it?
2 more things we got to tell you about. And one of them has to do with the fact that there could be other arrests here. David may not be the only person that they end up arresting in this case. And we'll tell you why in just a moment.
I never thought that would be the case. That he would be by himself. He had to confide in somebody. He needed help somehow. At some point. We got him nothing because they found everything. Got him some time to fucking play Fortnite. But where's he at right now? That's the question. If he's a suspect, where's he at?
Here is another very key fact that we have been told. that there was a...
You talking about this guy, Shannon? This guy is Harvey Levin's son?
Spring of 2025, they have information, police do, about David going to Santa Barbara County, a remote area of Santa Barbara County. That's how it was described to us. That he went to this remote area, spent several hours there, and then returned to LA. Don't know anything more at this point. Don't know. Spring of 2025 is a long way from...
I think she was gone by then, or it happened around then. Between January and in the spring, I believe it went down. It could have been New Year's. I just don't believe it was like the week that they found her.
September, early September, when her body was found in the Tesla. So we don't know yet what exactly that direct connection is, if there's a direct connection to the case, but they have this information about him going to that remote area, and they are trying to find out more about that. So, what I'd said about other arrests. So, again, they don't have the manner of death yet. They don't have the cause of death. What we're told, though, is the manner in which the body was dismembered leads police to believe that whoever did that to Celeste had help, that it was not something that whoever the person is who did it could have done by themselves, and likely, we're told, did have help. Now, we are not being told that there are any other people they are viewing as a suspect. We're not told that there are other persons of interest, just that what they've seen with the body and how it was dismembered, it likely, they feel, was not done by one person. So right now, again, just to recap, David, viewed as a suspect by investigators on this case. They view this as a homicide, still waiting for the ME's report to back up.
That is the biggest news. Suspect, and it's a homicide. And more information.
The fact that her cause of death is a homicide. And this mysterious Santa Barbara trip in the spring of 2025, I think that is going to be interesting if police can find out more. And then the final question is, who else was involved in dismembering Celeste's body? Don't have an arrest yet, but this is a good sign for people waiting to see if there is going to be justice for Celeste. You know, a lot of times when these cases drag out, people start to think the police aren't doing any work. We saw this with Brian Koberger in Idaho, and then it turned out the police had been diligently covering all their bases here to try and bring someone to justice. Maybe that is going to happen for Celeste Rivas and her family after all. Of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel to get all the latest on...
All right, let me see if they got an update since then. And they do. There we go. It's our boy, Harvey.
With 6, you can stay super chill without getting a big bill. Simply do it like the sloth and take all...
Now, I'm also told that logic is not a big part of this case because a lot... Now, I'm also told that logic is not a big part of this case because a lot of it doesn't make sense just in terms of everything that happened. I want to talk about the mystery still in this David investigation. We broke the story yesterday that David is viewed as a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas. The big mystery centers around something that we have now confirmed absolutely as true.
All right, confirmed, motherfucker. Shout out Shannon. Isn't he? I don't know. I didn't know. It makes sense. I was watching this earlier, and I watched these videos in the same, not this one, the last two, in the same order. And I walked out of the room after Harvey was done, and the other guy came on, and I thought it was still Harvey, just hearing his voice. So I guess it makes sense. I didn't know that, though.
That the LAPD, the big mystery centers around something that we have now confirmed absolutely as true, that the LAPD has some tracking information where they claim that David took this mysterious trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night in the spring of 2025. Now that is months before the body was discovered in Los Angeles in a trunk. I don't think it's hard to connect the dots. And he stayed there, by the way, for several hours. So I don't think it's hard to connect the dots that one of the things they seem to be looking at is whether Celeste was killed then and he buried the body there or left the body there in some way. If he did that, then the question would be, why would somebody, whether it would be him or somebody else, remove the body from Santa Barbara County, which is 100 miles away from LA, and bring it to Los Angeles, and then put it and leave it in a trunk on a well-traveled street, only to be found after the car was abandoned? That's the part that doesn't make sense. And I think that's, at least what I'm hearing, that's something the LAPD is really looking at. But I believe they have
how'd the body
theory.
get back?
I don't know what it is.
Or what was out there? I don't know that he buried nothing out there. Let's see. Go out there. I don't know. Maybe he smoked her out there. If they don't have records of that car going back to that spot, some other car did then. I don't know. Again, like you said, there's going to be no logic involved.
But based on our information, they have some theory about if the body was buried in Santa Barbara County or left in Santa Barbara County in some remote area, how it came back to Los Angeles. And that may also explain why we are told the LAPD believes that David would have had help. And now I don't know whether that help would be taking the body from Santa Barbara back to LA. I don't know. But that to me is the logical way of connecting the dots. Now I'm also told that logic is not a big part of this case because a lot of it doesn't make sense just in terms of everything that happened. But based on this Santa Barbara trip, it seems that the LAPD's operative theory is that Celeste was killed in the spring of 2025. The body not discovered until around September of this year. Now, the other thing that's interesting is there has not been a formal cause of death determined by the medical examiner, nor has the LAPD received the toxicology report. So they can't say that this is a homicide and David is a suspect because they can't definitively say now that it's a homicide. Their operating theory, we know, is that it is a homicide, but the coroner, the medical examiner, has not said that yet, nor...
He's still pushing back. He's still pushing back against the, he's a suspect. It's crazy. Very weird. Shout out Shannon Trap Ross, updated too. Shout out Zoraida on the check-in. Salutes, salutes, salutes.
Are y'all ready to party? Let's go! Get your hands up! 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 Get your hands up!
Shout out Zoraida on the check-in. Hola, long day, almost missed it. Hope your day's been going well. Salutes to you. Glad you made it. Ya estamos completo. Salutes. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. He's definitely pushing back more than, still, again, that feels like what he just said. He said, hey, man, they're operating under the theory that it's a homicide, but they ain't said it yet. One more.
A formal cause of death determined by the medical examiner, nor has the LAPD received the toxicology report. So they can't say that this is a homicide and David is a suspect because they can't definitively say now that it's a homicide. Their operating theory, we know, is that it is a homicide, But the coroner, the medical examiner, has not said that yet, nor has the medical examiner delivered toxicology to LAPD. What I'm told is the relationship between the medical examiner's office and the LAPD is not the greatest, because now we're 2.5 months in since the body was discovered, and still...
Bro, I don't give a fuck about one group's, relationship with another group as far as medical examiner and the poor. We don't like each other. I don't give a shit. There's the honoring the legacy memory of a little girl that had no business in the world that she was in, that was found in the trunk. That's what's at stake here. And y'all are fucking around, playing with investigations. Humans are humans. We're disgusting.
The LAPD doesn't know, A, cause of death, B, what the toxicology shows. And what I'm told is this kind of underscores not a great relationship where the medical examiner is particularly cooperative with the LAPD. 2.5 months isn't unusual for and I hate to use the term, run-of-the-mill homicide case, but this is a very high-profile homicide case, and a lot of times that can be accelerated. It doesn't seem to be accelerated here. So there is no formal determination of cause of death. There is no toxicology report. There is no formal label of suspect, because you can't call somebody a suspect until you know that it's a homicide.
He just went back on everything that dude said in the last video. Wow.
But again, we can tell you that investigators in robbery homicide are viewing this as a homicide, and they are viewing David as the suspect. But again, we are told they believe he had help. So Santa Barbara seems to be a...
Bring his ass in. He'll tell you if he had help. He's going to let you know quick, fast, in a hurry if he had help. Don't worry about it. Or bring in the help. The help will tell you it was him. It's just what it is. See if Traveler Ross got anything more. Maybe Sloan got something more. Who got the most information?
Oh, too much information and shit.
Let's see what Sloan talking about. See, but he got some outrageous shit here. David admits to doing this to Celeste. David is a suspect. Police reveal when and where. See what he said. Bruh, so they mad, man. Shout out Ed the Hip Hop Guru on the check-in. Salutes. They mad, man. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. I heard that too early on in the whole situation, that David's lawyer and Harvey Levin are friends. Don't doubt it. Not even a little bit. All right. Let's check this video out.
Last year, creators on Uscreen earned over $100 million just during the holiday season. That's why we're giving you our best.
David has been named a suspect in the murder investigation. Police revealed that Celeste was taken to Santa Barbara sometime in spring of this year, and that is when she died. Prosecutors also revealed that David is not cooperating with authorities. So let's get into it.
Not cooperating.
Now to some breaking news. Singer David now considered a suspect in
What's wrong, JP? Do face creeps you out? What's going on?
death investigation of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. A source with knowledge of the investigation telling Eyewitness News the 14-year-old was found dead on September 8th in the trunk of a Tesla registered to the singer.
It has been over 2 months since that date, September 8th, when Celeste's body was found in David's Tesla, and police are finally naming him a suspect. Now, the medical examiner has not figured out exactly how Celeste has died, but it seems like the police are okay with that. Like we've been saying for weeks police now. Why hasn't the police arrested him or at least named him a suspect? And maybe it's because they wanted to gather more evidence before they made that step. And I'm sure the autopsy report would have been helpful, but they've got at least enough to go and pursue this, which means that charges will be coming soon. Celeste's family was aware of David. They knew that he had a relationship with her, and her brother also was aware. He claims that she was headed on this date when she disappeared.
Family members who still live in Lake Elsinore were aware that Celeste knew David and said when his sister disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with David but never returned. We are finally inching closer and closer to David being arrested and Celeste getting justice.
I'm not going to judge the family right now. I don't know if they were aware of David's age. I mean, he was at least driving and she would have been like 13 years old. So I would assume they would be worried, probably why they reported her as a missing person.
No social media, no digital footprint.
Are we playing catch up though? I don't want to play catch up.
I'm just gone.
Now let's get into some of the details because it seems like police know when Celeste died. Okay. They believe that her death occurred in the spring and that David likely had help in dismembering and disposing of.
See, that is not how Harvey Levin explained it. And the question is, can we get a real article? Let me get an article. Before I start listening to everybody's, because he's just saying it matter of factly, like they said she was unalived on that Santa Barbara trip. And that ain't it. That's just a thing. The Santa Barbara trip is a thing. We can fucking pontificate from there, but we can't be for sure. And we can't say that they were for sure about that. So hold on, man. Hold on. Let me find an article that with the police quotes in it. That young girl was failed all around and continues to be failed to right now. All right. To right now. Let me get an article out of here. We'll go with, I want to go with TMZ. Go ABC News. Hold on, I'm making sure they got I'm looking for somebody got the fucking information.
Oh, too much information and shit.
I want somebody got the quotes. Okay. I'd rather hear a news outlet give me the wrong information than just somebody that got the wrong information from a news outlet. You know what I mean? Let's get it. Singer David identified as suspect in connection with unaliving of Celeste Rivas, LAPD says. Remains of Celeste Rivas, 15, were found in a Tesla registered to Singer David at a Hollywood tow yard in September. Right. What to know? Singer David has been identified as a suspect in connection with the unaliving of Rivas, according to LAPD source with direct knowledge of the investigation. Body was found on September 8th in the trunk at the Los Angeles tow yard. Car was impounded after it was reported abandoned. Source with direct knowledge told NBC4 that the Houston artist has not been cooperative in the investigation. Police tell NBC4 investigates that Celeste unaliving likely occurred in the spring. Likely, okay. TMZ didn't paint it like that. TMZ painted it like there was a trip to Santa Barbara that could have been this, could have been that, could have been this. It says here that the police say that it was likely that it occurred in spring and that David likely had help dismembering and disposing. Sorry, you really think this dude being put behind bars is really going to stop how this young girl has and was failed? No. No. But somebody got to suffer, right? He got to suffer for that. Somebody got to suffer for what happened to that girl. But it ain't gonna fix shit. Singer David, Singer David has been identified as a suspect in connection with the unaliving of Rivas, whose body remains were found in September inside the Tesla. The same source said that 20-year-old artist has not been cooperative in the investigation. Police tell NBC that Celeste's unaliving likely occurred in the spring and that David likely had help dismembering and disposing of her. David's lawyers did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment Tuesday. Celeste, who disappeared in the Lake Elsinore area last year, was identified through forensics. The medical examiner is still working to determine the cause of unaliving. She was last seen April 5th, 2024. But we know that's not true, because wasn't there a video of her after that? She went back home. This wasn't just she bounced and that was it. She went back home. You know? Last seen April 5th, 2024 in West Riverside community. Well, maybe that's what they're talking about. Details about the circumstances surrounding her disappearance were not immediately available. Her decomposed body was found September 8th after workers at Hollywood Toll reported a strong odor coming from the Tesla. Registered to the singer, also known as a frunk, found the remains in a bag. The remains, law enforcement sources told the NBC News that the remains were not intact. All right, this is another rumor that's been going on, that it was intact. So there you have it. Fuck. Oh, I believe that too. Again, I always believed that shitty cuz motherfucker, the street should have ate him when he took Nipsey's life. All right, but the street done lost his balls, JP. The romantic dickhead, because I don't even like promoting that stupid song. They always lead with that song in the headline. Singer's world tour, which began August 5th, was in Minneapolis at the time of the body's discovery, with a stop in Kansas City the next day. The Tesla was impounded after somebody reported it was abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, where neighbors said it had been parked for more than a month. The LAPD's treated the case as an unaliving investigation. Now remember, the PI found out that he had gotten another Tesla. That used to be his daily driver, but then he switched it and got himself a red one. LAPD's treated the case as an unaliving investigation. David's tour, which included a scheduled show in Los Angeles at the Greek Theater, was later canceled. Celeste's brother told NBC earlier this year that family members who still live in Lake Elsinore were aware that the girl knew David. Matthew Rivas said when his sister disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with him but never returned. David, whose legal name is David Burke, is a singer-songwriter who rose to fame with viral blah, 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 blah. Born in Queens, moved to Texas, whatever. He released his debut album, Withered, whenever. In an interview with the Zach Shank Show, David said the 4 substituted for the A in his name was for search engine optimization and a representation of 4 cinematic universes with various characters that he was creating. Shut the fuck up. I get it for SEO reasons, but whatever. Ain't gonna be nobody else with that name, so he'll be at the top of the Google search. Police told me more than TMZ. Everybody kept it vague. And Sloan was right in what he was saying. That's what the police said. He didn't comply, and bam, they put the body in there. Comply with who? The man? It's possible he did it with someone else. They hid the. I considered that somebody went and brought it back. Either David didn't pay out or got blackmailed. That could be a possibility. 2 things could be true at the same time. Absolutely. Yeah, shout out Shannon. For most of her life, she's been failed. I believe some of these people deserve street justice instead of living behind bars. It'd be frustrating. The song is sickening. Yeah, fuck that song. Yes, absolutely. They can still say it's statutory. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's go back to the Sloan video quickly. Again, we're here for a good time, not a long time. We'll be bouncing soon. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Let's get it. Even if that's true, I see him as the same piece of shit. Yeah, but you're right, though. I thought about that. They could have put the body up. Somebody could have came and got it later. And then put it in the thing while he was on tour or whatever. Either way, they're all fucked.
Yo vivo tranquila con los pelos presos en la casa. ¡Cállate, hipopuerta! Si la cagó, mira, hizo...
For the body, or at least maybe parts of the body. Police told NBC4 that Celeste's death occurred around then, and I don't know when he dismembered it. I would assume like shortly after the crime had occurred. I did find some sources note that there was a strange trip that David took in spring to Santa Barbara, a really nice area in California, and he stayed there for several hours. And it looks like it was a late night trip. Now, I don't know why investigators are bringing up this Santa Barbara trip, but I am curious. So what happened in Santa Barbara? Did something happen between Celeste and David, and he planned this trip out there?
Well, if you ask me, they have no question. They know who got inside that car. They know who was on the outside of that car. They know who drove it. They know who rode in it. They know where it went, where it came from, how long it was there. They seen it. We're the only ones that don't know. They know.
For all of them with this mindset, this intention to go and unalive her. And if that's the case, whoever was there and helped him do this was also probably in on the plan.
Adding Rivas' death likely occurred in the spring, and that the singer likely had help in dismembering and disposing of the body. Law enforcement sources have said the remains were not intact, and according to the medical examiner, it appeared the girl, who was described as having wavy black hair and weighing about 71 pounds, had been dead inside the Tesla for an extended period of time.
Shut up, Les. Didn't they say at the beginning that they had stolen that Tesla? You mean at the beginning of this whole fucking debacle? They being the operative word in what you say. Didn't they say? Well, who the fuck was they at that time? They said a whole lot of shit. So yeah, I remember hearing that too. But I think that was just in his head. But somebody stole his car. That's what happened. And then boom. You know? Whether it be TMZ, whoever the fuck it was. But I remember that being a part of the theory. Somebody stole his car. They put that in there. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But all of that came out. I mean, too fast, too early. When you say the beginning, that sounds like the very, very beginning.
The singer David, whose real name
That's
is...
how it moves. Something happens, instantly we got this crazy bow. We got all this information when none of it's really information.
Too much information and shit.
It's just internet talk. It's just the first thing that come to everybody's brains. That's it.
David Anthony Burke rose to fame on TikTok and was on tour.
When I tell you where this came from, I cannot remember. I just put it into one of the files I have on my laptop, one of many. But they...
So let's go to the spring. I remember this list here. Let's see what the spring's talking about.
List the date as when David meets Celeste back in late 2021. Then we've got... Wait, Celeste's 12th birthday.
Bruh, somebody need to fuck his face up just over that, allegedly. David meets Celeste. There's no reason to meet an 11-year-old girl. There's no reason. Is that real? Did all of this really happen? Did he know her at that age? We heard a lot of things. We heard the Discord stories and all of this shit. They were in a Discord together and this, that. Were all of those things true? Was that really her account? Because if it is,
2022. On September 7th, 2023, Celeste's birthday, it looks like he releases the song Birthday Suicide. I can't even say that word. December 23rd of that same year, David releases a song, Celeste. On January 11th, 2024, David goes live.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
That shit fucking makes me mad. Are we still live? Everything looked like it died over there for a second. think we good, right? Everything fucking clunked out over here for a second. Tubo. No jode tanto. Alright. Salute to y'all. Give me a second. Loud and clear? Okay, all good. Man, everything clunked out over here. That video is fucking frustrating, bro.
Oh my. Delete everything.
Delete everything. Delete your fucking face. Your stupid fucking face. Your whack ass, weak ass imagination. Fuck you.
Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
On July 7th, 2024, David announces a pregnancy on Discord. No more messages from Celeste past that point. Maybe she was forced into hiding because of the pregnancy. Sometime in February 2025, Celeste reposts a TikTok on her page that says, when your man turns into your baby daddy. Then on sometime March 2025, the day Celeste previously said the baby was due, so she would have been due with the kid at that point. April 2025, Celeste potentially killed. So this would have been that spring time period that police keep bringing up, and it must have been early April, possibly late March. It looks like he performs at Coachella that April, so April 11th through the rest of the month, he's busy with Coachella. In late July, it looks like Celeste's body was left in the car. I believe we got that date as July 29th or so.
July 29th. And talk to me about what you saw. Is the last time it drove and ended up at the spot where it was abandoned likely with that body inside?
I'm certain they left town right after that. It was put there with her, in the front trunk. You can see the person and you can see what they're
What you mean, Velez? No, one.
Wearing something pretty distinctive. 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
Now that July time frame could also be a time when Celeste had been unalived, but it seems police are confident with this spring date, which makes me question all of the different sightings that we've seen of her. Like the one that we saw, I believe it was in Maryland, when it looked like she was up on the stage corner, and people believed it was her, but it must not have been if she was dead back in April. So David starts performing a lot, which kind of makes me believe he's trying to set up an alibi as he places the body to be found. On September 7th, he promotes his new album that never came out.
Yeah, but it turned out that she wasn't. Or at least that's what we heard in the internet more recently, but I feel like we heard that from officials. I feel like we heard that from the police. That she wasn't pregnant.
The Withered album, and it was on her 15th birthday. On the 8th, her body is found.
Am I
again,
wrong?
After her.
Didn't we hear that wasn't real? They shot that down. I feel like that was one of the only things we were able to confirm because it came from official sources. I think, Shannon, you're a little bit behind on the stream. I remember them saying that according to reports, but the body was so decomposed that they couldn't determine reliable. Yeah, I feel like they said it wasn't. Covers so much shit over here. So much tragedy. Who can remember all of them?
15th birthday, and it took about 11 days for all of David's shows to be canceled.
One of our sources claimed that the police investigation revealed around spring of 2025, David took a trip in the middle of the night to a remote area in Santa Barbara County, and he remained there for several hours. We have not double-sourced that information, and it's also unclear why a spring trip would be on the police's radar.
This person writes that she's been killed in spring, and those morons couldn't come up with a better disposal plan for at least 2 months.
All right, once they
it's
start
good
going
that they
to the
didn't, though.
commenters, I'm straight. It all still sounds wishy-washy to me. Still a little wishy in the washy. And that kid is still failed. Still being failed at this moment. Crazy talk.
Now, I'm also told.
Let's see what Law and Crime talking about real quick. Let's see if they're still pushing the agenda like Harvey is. All right, we're supposed to be out of here already. Till the duo heals up.
It is now being reported that David may officially be a suspect in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. After this missing girl's
Thank you for saying it right, man. She was 14 years old, bro. I don't believe she saw her 15th birthday. That was her 15th birthday. These cases have been back and forth for information. Law and Crime worded it perfectly. Let's get it.
decomposed body was found in his car 2 months ago. This is a major development. Strange, considering recent reports.
I commented it, and I was saying thank you to Law and Crime for saying it the right way, too, at the same time.
But 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. After this missing girl's decomposed body was found in his car 2 months ago, this is a major development. Strange, considering recent reports, but major nonetheless. Oh, and TMZ is now reporting that LAPD may now be looking at this as a homicide case. If all of this is in fact true, what does this mean for him and this investigation? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Real quick, before we go any further, gotta say this. If you're in the content creation game, have you ever wondered how we're able to get the most powerful tool there is sent off of an annual plan? Anyone else have whiplash right now? The back and forth on this story is so confusing, to say the least. I mean, we just reported yesterday that TMZ came out and confirmed that the LAPD told them that there were no arrests that are imminent in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose decomposed body was found in a Tesla that was registered to singer David. Her body was found September 8th. But now, outlets like TMZ and ABC News, they have just reported that sources confirmed to them that David, real name David Anthony Burke, is now considered a suspect. Now, the LAPD didn't come out and say this for sure. They didn't confirm it, but this is what is being reported. And TMZ, by the way, reported that they are being told that the LAPD is in fact...
Old Soul sent $25. This whole story is crazy and it feels like they're dragging their feet on the investigation. But on another note, have one of each for this depressing shit.
Shout out Old Soul for the $25 power chat. This whole story is crazy and it feels like they're dragging their feet on the investigation. But on another note, have one of each for this depressing shit. Salutes to you. Thank you. Will do.
Don Giulini Setentini te pone hasta el culini.
Oh,
Un
man,
shot.
it fucking
Due
makes me
shot.
mad, bro. I want to break some shit, bro. Straight up. Oh. Salutes to Old Soul, man. This shit is crazy. This kid, man.
Looking at this as a homicide investigation. And they even cite how a source is reportedly telling them that the investigation found that David allegedly took a trip in spring 2025 to this remote area in Santa Barbara County, was there for several hours. TMZ does warn, though, that they haven't double-sourced this information, but it should be noted, we don't know when Celeste died. Reporting indicates that she may have been dead for quite some time. Steve Fisher, the private investigator who was hired by the owner of the property that David was staying at, which is near where the Tesla was found, he said there's proof of life photo of Celeste from January 2025. Publicly, though, there have been no confirmed videos or photos of Celeste since 2024. Now, all of this new reporting, I have to be clear, all of this new reporting, we can't 100% confirm if this is true. In fact, E! claims they contacted the LAPD for comment, but a spokesperson said they couldn't confirm this reporting because this is an ongoing active investigation. This idea that David is a suspect, that is backed up also by NBC4 Los Angeles, who says they spoke to an LAPD source.
So it's a source, bro. It's just a source. Confidential informant. So we can't take anything as gospel, and we're so thirsty for somebody to say that this Mama Huevo was a suspect and that little girl gonna get some justice. And but no, that ain't it. Not yet. Shout out to everybody. I guess TMZ was being clear. You know? Fuck.
With direct knowledge of the investigation. By the way, the same source who confirmed that David is no longer cooperating with law enforcement in this case. Again, that's the allegation. LAPD hasn't come out and said that officially, but we got to talk about this. And I actually want to read you, before I even get into that, I want to read you a direct quote from NBC4 Los Angeles. Quote, police tell NBC4 Investigates that Celeste's death likely occurred in the spring and that David likely had help in dismembering and disposing of the body. To be clear again, no arrests have been made as of yet, okay?
They didn't just say a source. They said a police source. What that means, and who knows?
Why this is so confusing, aside from what I just mentioned with TMZ reporting that LAPD told them there's no imminent arrests, LAPD told KTLA, what was it, last week, that they stand by their prior news release. That, quote, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Ms. Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there's any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. So is the reporting suggesting that he is the suspect in the concealment of the body, something more? And by
Wait, what? Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Ms. Rivas' unaliving. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. So we still don't have the fucking... Has not yet determined. The FBI needs to investigate the beef between the medical examiner's office and the LAPD. Because this is fucking ridiculous.
Medical examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Ms. Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there's any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. So is the reporting suggesting that he is the suspect in the concealment of the body, something more? And by the way, that is true. When it comes to the ME, it doesn't appear that there is a change, that this manner and cause of death have been listed or have been determined. Once that comes in, though, once the toxicology results come in, we're going to have a better understanding of what happened here. But according to ABC, their sources say the ME will, in fact, make a determination soon. And ABC News is reporting that according to sources, Celeste, this girl from Lake Elsinore, California, who was reported missing last year, her body was dismembered when it was found in that car, and that the dismemberment and the disposal likely involved more than one person, and that law enforcement have been in touch with several people who are somehow connected or involved in this case. What do we make of this? Let me bring in Colin L. Schmidt, retired FBI agent, president, CEO of Kronos Litigation Experts. Thank you so much for coming on. What does it mean to be a suspect? Let's start there. What's the definition of a suspect?
Well, a suspect means they have predicated an investigation in the person. So that's kind of lower, or a reasonable suspicion. So they have a reasonable suspicion that the person may be involved in a crime. They don't necessarily have probable cause or beyond a reasonable doubt, but right now they're at the point of reasonable suspicion. So now that means they're ramping up their resources to really lean in on this person, if in fact they are a suspect, because that has not been confirmed officially by LAPD. Would they confirm it? Like, you think they'll come out today, tomorrow, and say, yes, he's a suspect? No. They're not going to do that. In fact, I'm sure the district attorney's office is a bit irritated that these leaks are coming out.
I feel like that too. I feel like the police is upset that these leaks are out there.
If in fact they are truthful and they are
stupid ass. I don't even like your stupid face.
Are confirmed, because it impacts their ability to move forward with their investigation, because now that if he indeed is a suspect, then everybody around him is going to be ready when law enforcement starts knocking on their doors, if they haven't already knocked on their doors. Can you expand upon that? Why is that such a danger to label him as a suspect at this point? Is the idea...
Jesse Weber and Johnny Bravo looking motherfucker though.
People, like you said, people won't talk. He might do something. Again, we don't know for sure, but what is the danger of him being publicly labeled a suspect?
Well, the first part is everybody in his circle is going to lawyer up, because if they have any information about this, they're going to protect themselves if indeed he is a suspect. Secondly, it provides a danger to law enforcement. Now everybody's kind of on edge. So when they go knock on those doors, if the person that they thought was a witness was culpable or participated in this, it could be a danger to that law enforcement when they're knocking on the door, and if that person wants to protect themselves from being found out. So when these leaks happen, it's really frustrating as a retired law enforcement officer to see this, because it just makes the job of the detectives that much harder.
If he is in fact a suspect, does law enforcement know where he is right now? Because we don't know where he is.
I would make the assumption they do. They've probably been tracking him per se since the day the body was found, and they identified him as being the owner of the car. But we don't know if he's in the United States or if he's in some foreign country. And depending on...
We don't know if he's in the United States or some foreign country. God.
No, mommy's wait.
What kind of nonsense is that, man? We don't know. What?
Which foreign country it is. If he is in fact a suspect and he is charged, then they're going to have to go through a process of extradition, which could make this case go on for a very...
Shout out Shannon. No mango. We got mangoes, but I didn't pull a mango. I got I just got the first one that was there. The Baja. What is it? Baja Blast. Yeah, Baja Blast. If they've been in touch with more than one people, alguien va a chotear. They're definitely pointing fingers at each other. It boggled me how they could have given the body to the family without a determination. Yeah, it's crazy. What if somebody got to go back and they forgot to check something? You know what I mean? Something. Yo, but how y'all don't know? Y'all don't have eyes on him? Y'all don't know where he's at? Come on, man. But again, this is just somebody saying this shit to us. I don't know what's what from what.
Very long time.
Does a suspect always lead to an arrest?
No. So like I said, it's a reasonable suspicion. And so those homicide detectives with LAPD, which my biased opinion are probably the best in the world, they're going to run down every single lead to make sure that they have the right person. And they're also going to look into hypotheses that don't lead to him to make sure they have the right person, because ultimately their goal is to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. So they can't just go out and decide, okay, this is a suspect, and then focus their entire investigation on him or her. They have to run out all the leads to make sure they have the right person.
When I mentioned whiplash before, you can understand why I said that, right? I mean, if the reporting, you take all the reporting is true, that LAPD comes out and said there's no arrests that are on the horizon, and yet now it's being reported he may be a suspect. Can two things be true at once? Can he be a suspect, but there's no arrest that's imminent?
Absolutely. So like I said, they still have to do their investigation. They don't want to arrest anybody, then have to release them because they got the wrong person. So they're still gathering their information. They're still interviewing people. They're still waiting for the ME or the toxicology reports to come back, because somebody of this profile, and then frankly, they've been burned in the past by pulling the trigger, so to speak, too soon. The DA's office wants to make sure all the ducks in a row before they move on anybody that's involved in this.
Before I even go into, this possibly being investigated as a homicide, if this is true, do you think he's been a suspect for quite some time? Why do I say that? Do you think David knew that he was being classified as a suspect? If it's true, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, the boy ain't
hired
said a
Blair
word.
Burke, this high-powered criminal.
Yeah, he hired his lawyer. He knew something. He knew enough to hire her ass. They keep putting CeeLo in this mix. CeeLo like, man, why the fuck y'all keep putting my picture up there, man? I ain't got shit to do with this story. Shout out my brother Old Soul said, man, this whole fucking story irks me, man. I feel you, man. This really is too much fucking
too much information and shit.
So Luz Velez's Blaha Blast recommendation. Shout out Shannon, it gets my blood pressure over the top. He has that perv look. He's on my werewolf.
Defense attorney to very prominent stars, hired her last month, transferred homes to his mother's name. Do you think it is possible that we may only now be learning that he's classified as a suspect? It's not been official. LAPD hasn't come out and said it yet. But is it possible that he's been declared a suspect for quite some time?
Well, in the concept of declaring a suspect, I think the LAPD doesn't declare. Maybe a person of interest would be at the best where they've officially declared somebody a part of the investigation. But the bottom line, or the logic here, is all the data points were pointing to him based specifically upon him being the owner of that car and then occupying the residence that was near where the car was found. So as soon as that was leaked or came out in the media, I'm sure that's when he hired his lawyer, and I'm sure that's when he started taking actions to protect himself and to protect his assets.
There was a theory, because this is new, there was a theory that, yes, it was his car. Maybe he's not connected to it in any way. Maybe he didn't know who was operating his car.
Theory, that's the word. Theory. There's a lot of theory out there. More theory out there than we can handle, man. Too much.
Too much information and shit.
too much fucking information. Shout out Shannon. They know where he is. They know where he is.
He was on tour. He wasn't part of her body being moved.
Olympic standard regulation, Illinois State Athletic Commission shot glass.
There. If it's, you take all this reporting as true, as I mentioned, what do you think's leading them to believe that he was, in fact, potentially, we'll put aside this homicide investigation. What do you think is leading them to believe he was somehow connected to the disposal of her body, moving her body?
Well, statistically speaking, a homicide is done by somebody that knows the victim. So this basic logic or statistics will show that's the first person. You're going to look at anybody that has a romantic relationship with this young lady first. Then the second part is, okay, the car was found with the body dismembered, and it was his car, and it was found near his house that he occupied. And so the data points are all leading in one direction. It doesn't mean he did this. It's just they still have to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. But the bottom line is that his relationship with her is well documented. And because of that, they're going to follow up on those leads and find out what happened. And based upon the fact that the body was dismembered, it's likely that he had, or not he, but somebody had help doing that. Because to dismember a body, there's a lot of effort into that.
Again, we're looking on the outside. But when I spoke to Steve Fisher, right, he said, based on my conversation with him, based on what I'm reading, it doesn't appear that there is surveillance footage of David driving the car, putting a body in, anything like that. He had mentioned that there was evidence in the house that would suggest there might have been planning of disposing a body. Do you think that this is true, that he's a suspect in her disposal, in the disposal of her body, maybe?
I mean, what does this boy tell his mama when he talks to his mama? You think his mama watches any of this shit? You think she cared to know what the fuck is going on with any of this shit? Or is she ignorance is bliss? But if what kind of conversations do they have? Does she just blindly believe, hey, my son is innocent, and he just goes along with that story? Or has he confided in her? Like, what's happening? Bullshit. Fuck what Velez is talking about. It's a fucking shot, papas. Olympic standards. Okay? Cut the bullshit.
No, mommy's wake.
If I pour another one, it'll get right to the brim, to the top of this motherfucker, okay? So, that's just proof positive right there, so.
No, mommy's wake.
All right? Come over here with that bullshit.
Bullshit.
Shout out Shannon with the killer combo. Yo, Shannon, you're going to make me make a shirt that just says flock cameras plus Palantir. I'm going to make that fucking shirt. Because that's the killer combo right there, man. They used to say you can't outrun the Motorola. Now you can't outrun the flock cameras and the Palantir. And then if you add a drone component to that, se jodió la cosa. Lo cagaron.
Yo vivo tranquila con los pelos. Cagó el gallo. Cállate, hijueputa. Chinga su madre, ya valió.
Who? David's mama's a prosecutor? Shout out Oso. Is that what you're saying?
The mutilation of her body. Do you think there's communications they got a hold of? Do you think there's witnesses who have said something? Maybe there's other surveillance footage that we don't know of. Because if he's not point blank on camera...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Moving a body or moving the car, there has to...
Oh, she's a prosecutor. You mean for her son? Or is she for real a prosecutor? I didn't know that. I just know she was shopping for guns and shit. And I know that they swatted her. Most mamas think their kids are saints when they know damn well they ain't shit. It be like that. Gotta keep it real with them or else you're an enabler.
Be something else that's been happening behind the scenes.
Well, we kind of look at it from another perspective. The way the body was found, it doesn't appear that this is a cartel hit or something, or somebody that's very sophisticated. It looks to me like it's somebody who's not very sophisticated. And
yeah, a couple of assholes did it. A couple of assholes that ain't never done it before. And if they did it just as fucked up, and this will open up that can of worms. But, you know, it came out in one of the early videos, a real prosecutor. No shit. Well, I wonder what their conversations are. Awkward. Did their conversations are awkward? Like, Papa, you know that, you know, you're under a crazy ass investigation about some crazy shit right now, right? You don't want to talk about it? Like, what the fuck, man? Damn, his mama's a prosecutor? It's crazy.
If in fact he is a suspect, he's only 20, 21 years old, so he doesn't have a long criminal history and a very sophisticated nature of how to hide a body, to be participatory in crime. So to answer your question, I think there's lots of evidence out there that's pointing to the people who did this. And then we go back to the car itself. It's a rolling supercomputer. They've got so much data coming out of the computer that's in that car. Like I said before, I'm confident that they're going to find out who did this and who participated in her disposal.
If it's also true with TMZ reporting that this is possibly now a homicide case, a homicide investigation, we don't know for sure if that is true. That's a 180 too. That's a 180 from what LAPD had said, that they might not be investigating this other than just a concealment of a body case. Either LAPD didn't know at the time, something changed, or LAPD wasn't being entirely transparent with the media because, like you said, they didn't want to tip off about what the investigation's really about. Talk to me about why you might see that kind of 180 there. And, you know, it's interesting because when we took that information and we're thinking, well, wait a minute, if it's not a homicide investigation, how did she die? Theories of drugs being involved, an overdose, we don't know for sure. If it's a homicide investigation, which, by the way, you could potentially have a homicide investigation even if drugs are involved, but do you think LAPD was being honest? Do you think something changed? If this is true, if the TMZ reporting's true, that this is now a homicide investigation, explain to me that 180.
Well, the first thing is LAPD hasn't given anything out official, so we're just operating on anonymous sources. Secondly, if indeed it was started out as a disposal or a dismemberment and went to homicide, that leads me to believe that they either have an independent data point in terms of somebody told them something that this led to a homicide, and or they had a preliminary review of the medical.
It's a little ass girl, bro. Also, and if that mom is legally well informed, she's going to do and give him all the advice he needs to beat this. I believe that's why he hasn't spoken. Yeah, if she's a prosecutor, she got all the info.
Examiner's report and saw indicia of violent acts on the body. Even though the body was dismembered and was in a state of decomposition, the medical examiner is still going to be determined cause of death based upon what's happened.
That kid had a future ahead of her. Like, you know, you're not a... You know, things change for people. I've seen the hardest of the hardcore, you know, grow soft and have children and families and shit. Like, she had that coming and she's dead.
To the bones or the lacerations or the state that it's in. So it just tells me there was a data point that came out that led them to believe this, if in fact it is true, because we're still operating on anonymous sources.
As far as I know, when you look at the site, the medical examiner hasn't listed for this case the cause and manner of death. It hasn't been publicized. Do you think that law enforcement has spoken to the ME? They know it. It's just not being published at this point. Or if there is a delay, why a delay in a case like this?
Well, I think it comes right back to the media attention here, is because once you and the DA's office in LA, as well as the LAPD, is very experienced with the media. They know once they release that ME report, that's going to cause another round of speculation and media firestorm. So they want to hold their cards very close to them while they're gathering all their facts, because once you let the horses out of the barn, you can't let them back in. And I'm fairly confident that they know what's in that ME report. It's just a matter of time before it does officially come out. And I would suspect it won't come out until they actually have a charging document along with it.
I know I sound like a broken record, but I'll say it again. Assuming these allegations are true, assuming this reporting is true, this Santa Barbara trip is bizarre, no?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, what was going on up there? Why up there? I mean,
Why be they interested in it if it's true? Why are they interested in it?
Well, just taking a step and following this hypothesis, that might be where this this criminal act occurred. And that might be in the computer of that Tesla showing that trip, the to and from, and with that information. And frankly, there might be video of the people who were involved in this walking around the car. I mean, we just don't know until that information is released. But the point is, there is a lot of data, a lot of evidence that's surrounding this. And whomever did it was not very sophisticated because, frankly, the body was found.
What would be the charge if you're talking about concealing a body? My understanding is in California, if you conceal an accidental death, that's a misdemeanor. There is willfully mutilating a body. I believe that could be a felony. Maybe evidence tampering. What do you see that could be potential charges here?
Well, depending on what was going on, they might actually, whoever helped, if there was somebody who helped dispose of the body, they could also be roped in as an accessory to a murder, which is actually the serious charge. That's a felony, and that's a very long stretch in federal prison. So it's essentially like a conspiracy that you would charge in federal court. So if there was a group of people involved in this, everybody is looking at a very long stretch in federal or in state prison because of the fact that she died.
And they shouldn't feel safe nowhere.
She was dismembered, and the way in the state that she was found in, and the fact that the victim's family wants justice as well as the public.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're dealing with allegedly drugs being involved, there are ways you could bring homicide charges, particularly if you're furnishing drugs to a minor and there is some sort of overdose. I'm not saying that's what happened, but just something to be thinking about here as we try to make sense of what
and that's a good
is going on here.
And that's a good point. In federal law, it's strict liability. So if a drug dealer gives drugs to a person, they die, they can be charged with basically a homicide in the federal sense, which is 15 years to life. So there could even be federal charges here if she did die of a drug overdose.
To be clear, the reporting indicates that no case has been presented to a prosecutor, but that doesn't necessarily mean that prosecutors aren't working with law enforcement. In other words, let's say there's a lot of people, and let's say they come to them and say, we could charge you with X, Y, and Z right now, but if you cooperate, that has to be a conversation with the prosecutor's office as well, right? I mean, do you think the prosecutors and investigators are working hand in hand, maybe in these interviews, if there are interviews happening?
Absolutely. And that's the way it's done in the federal system. And then in these high profile cases, there's tight coordination between the LA DA's office as well as LAPD. I'm sure there's communications ongoing because the DA's office wants to have oversight to make sure there's no mistakes made. Not that the LAPD would, but the bottom line is the DA's office has to defend all of LAPD's actions in court. So they're going to make sure all the ducks are in a row and they're doing everything by the book because this is such a high profile incident. They don't want to have another OJ problem on their hands. They want to make sure this is clean, straightforward, and then all the facts are presented to a jury if and when that does happen.
And let me just add this. We talk about this case a lot. It's in the media a lot. It's on social media a lot. People are invested. People care. My heart goes out to the family. My heart goes out to the family not only for their loss, but trying to navigate this. And if they are kept in the dark, Colin, from law enforcement, and I'll ask you whether or not you think that they are, if they have more information than the public does, whether they should, whether law enforcement should share more details with the family than law enforcement. This back and forth, this one day it's this, one day that, I have to imagine is incredibly distressing and incredibly frustrating. But do you think the family is getting more information than the media right now?
It's kind of a trust issue. There's been instances where the law enforcement shared information with families and the family went right out and had a press conference. So we have to see what comes out, and we don't know what that level of trust is between the family and law enforcement. And the LA District Attorney's Office does have a victim witness bureau or group that does interact with victims of violent crime. So to answer your question, we just don't know. I mean, the bottom line is this is a young lady who was killed or who was found, dismembered.
No safe place, man. As a little kid.
We don't know if she was killed. And that's a tragedy beyond comprehension, as a dad, that this happened. And so with all this media firestorm, we still have to remember that there's a victim here and there's a family that's standing behind that victim, which is just such a tragedy.
It is a tragedy.
But if you hear something, you got to shut up. Let them police handle their business, Rest in peace, Celeste Rivas. Fuck. again, it feels like now everybody's just saying, well, this is just a source. It's only a source saying it. It's just a source saying it, you know? It's like, come on, man. Is it a source? Is it a source? Is the question. Because, god damn. Was it the police? You saying on one side you're saying the police said it. On the other side you're saying a source with the police said it. Which is it? What are we doing here? I don't know. We'll keep following that story. See what the fuck happens. I want it to be solidified in the thought and the idea that he was named as a suspect, and that's it. More questions. Now we got a Santa Barbara trip. I think it was common knowledge, common sense that he had help, or somebody had help to do this. I also think it's easy to believe that she was gone a lot earlier than we knew she was. You know what I mean? Or, you know, than her body popping up, you know, more than that week. The question is, if dude is the suspect, where is he? You don't know where he's at? Well, hopefully Shannon's right and the Palantir is on his ear. You can see right where he's at and what he's doing. I mean, all right, we haven't covered this story in a while because there was nothing to cover. There was no new information.
Too much information and shit. Bullshit.
And we was waiting for some information. Now I did it. I got JP talking about he leaving. That's not something to promote. Fucking with my algorithm. I'll be leaving and I'll be coming back. That's how cruel and fucked up this story is. Coño, man. Alright. Salute Shannon. Add a drone and you ain't hiding nowhere. Facts. This mama's no enabler, Shy. I don't remember what I said in what context. If I was talking about him, if he is indeed sitting there confiding, or they're just acting like nothing happened, just believing him out of nowhere, whatever, then they're enabling him. Bullshit, coño, man.
Bullshit.
Yo vivo tranquila con los pelos presos. Cállate, hijueputa.
Alright, we done covered this story and pissed off old soul. And fired him up and shit at night. Shout out IB on the check-in. Salutes. We about to get out of here. Catch that replay gang. Hashtag replay gang. All right, let me stop this recording. All right, we went for an hour and a half just on that subject. All right, we late. We in trouble. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me run through the chat. Got some editing to do and some filming to do tonight. All right, salute Shannon. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Shout out G. Valdovin. Shout out my brother Old Soul. Shout out Love vs. Money. Shout out Big June. Teddy. Nando. Shout out to Nightbot for being consistent. Salute JP. Appreciate you. Shout out Raven. Pure Art. Make sure you go catch our premieres. Catch all our uploads, man. Shout out Velez. Salud Zoraida. Thank you for coming through. Shout out Ed. All right, we got APB out on Vicente, Eddie Jimenez, Kino, bunch of people. Macho McFly. All right, salute JP. Family's heartbreaker, because when you lose someone, any new information comes out, pain just like the first time you heard it. Absolutely. Shout out Sheldon on the check-in. Appreciate you. They still have no closure, indeed. Shout out Shannon. Appreciate it. Salutes. All right, y'all. Get the rest of that money this week. Million. That million. All right. I'll see y'all Friday night, barring any unforeseen circumstances. We got more to cover. I'll be dropping more premieres through the week, so make sure you check out the premieres. Hit that like button. Make sure you share, tell your friends, share our shorts, all that good stuff. Drop comments. Let us know what you think. All right. Disagree with us, just be nice about it. All right. With that said, hundreds up in the chat for y'all. Oh, hold on. I got to finish this beer. Let me see something. Ooh. Want to give away some memberships? Fuck yeah, let's give away some memberships. See what happens. All right, again, this is up to El Tubo. We're going to give away our first 5 right now.
Are y'all ready to party? Let's go! Get your hands up! 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 Get your hands up!
All right. 323G gets a membership. Al the Pal gets a membership. J-Fam gets a membership. 509 gets a membership. And Glitter Girl, all right? I recognize everybody but Glitter Girl there, so salutes to them. All right, 509, J-Fam, Al the Pal, 323. J-Fam might already have a membership. We'll see. Boom. Wow, Usual Suspects. If you've never seen that movie, check it out. It's worth your while. 323G. Shout out Zoraida. Salutes to you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Boom. 323G. So we're going to get some members only content in very soon. All right, we're going to give away 5 more before we get out of here. Speed up the process.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
All right. Boom, 509. And Glitter Girl, 101. Right. We got 5 more to give out. Let's give them.
No mommy's wake.
Are y'all ready to party? Let's go! Get your hands up! 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 Get your hands up!
All right. Boom, Vicente. That's going to send Vicente a notification. All right, Shannon got a membership. Salutes to Shannon. Shannon got a membership. Right, salutes. Salutes God Did. Salutes Jackie, Rolex, and Vicente. All right. Caught your most recent premiere? Replay style. That's it. Replay game, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. Pasa la cerveza. Salud. Congratulations to the new members. All right. Get some members only content in. Shout out Shannon. Thank you for the membership shot. Salutes to you, Shannon. You earned it. All right. I'm glad that Tubo gave it to you. I wish I had the choice of who I give him to. Boom. That beer is donezo. Salutes Oso for the cerveza. Salutes JP for the power chats. Shout out to the usual suspects. Salutes to all the wrenches. Appreciate y'all for being here. Salutes to all the new members. All right, y'all. Your boy got work to do. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. Y'all have a great night. Get that money tomorrow. Get that money on Friday. I'll see y'all Friday night. Million. Friday night, maybe we do something here. Maybe we move over to Ill Crimes and do some body cams. We'll see how that goes. All right. Hundreds up in the chat. Salutes to y'all. I will holla. Peace. Haven't seen her in a while, but congratulations to Jackie. Salutes to Jackie. All those people going to get a notification. They ain't been around. They got APBs out. They're going to get a notification. I will holla. Peace.